Welcome back to another episode of Musings podcast. I'm your host Gungo Mildred, and I'm so happy that you're joining me on another Wednesday for another amazing episode. So there's going to be a little change. If you didn't listen to, I don't know, was it last Wednesday? I don't know. A couple of Wednesdays ago, I explained that Kenyan movies are not as many as Nigerian and South African movies on Netflix. And so I have not been able to get another one that I want to watch on Netflix, a Kenyan one. So today I had explained that I'll be doing a movie that is basically Ugandan, although it is produced by Disney. And so I hope that you're still going to enjoy it, because honestly, it's either I do this, I start looking for movies from other parts of Africa that I can do on the days that I'm supposed to be doing Kenyan movies, or I just start now watching series, which will be difficult for me because, Wi-Fi nowadays is not something that I just have. So I can't just decide to watch an entire season of, even if it's just 6 episodes. It's been tough, guys. It's been tough. So I don't know. Today's movie is not a Kenyan movie, but it's an interesting one. So I hope that you're going to like it. And if you can find it, you should definitely go and watch it. Okay? So I'm going to go straight into it because I didn't want to last so long doing this. And I'm hoping that it doesn't rain like it rained on last Wednesday's show. You heard the rain noises in the background. I'm sure you did. I'm so sorry for that. When I was editing, sometimes even when I tell you that my neighbors are making noise or there's music, when I'm recording, I don't usually hear it. So I'm never sure if you guys will hear it because we have different speakers, different earphones and stuff like that. But then when I was doing that last Wednesday's episode, I was like, okay, you might hear the rain, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. I didn't know just how loud it was going to be. When I was editing, I was like, oh my God, that is just too loud. But there's nothing I could do about it. I'm sure there's a way I could have removed the background noise, but I still do not know how to do that. I tried to, whatever I tried to do just wouldn't have worked. And I need to learn more. I know I need to learn some more. But hey, I hope that it doesn't start raining. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible with this movie. So let's get into it. So on today's episode, I'm going to be giving a review of I'm going to call it Ugandan movie, even though it is from the States and it's it's under Disney and all of that. But the people who are acting are Africans and they're mostly from Uganda and they're acting from Uganda as well. So I'm going to call it a Ugandan movie. Okay, so on today's episode, I'm going to be giving a review of the Ugandan movie Queen of Katwe. Queen of Katwe is a 2016 Ugandan movie written by William Wheeler and Tim Gathers, and it's directed by Mira Nair. I hope that's how you say the name, or is it just Nair? I don't know. Forgive me for that. The cast members include Madina Nalwanga, she plays Fiona Mutesi, Lupita Nyong'o plays Naku Harriet, David Oyelowo plays Robert Katende, Martin Kabanza plays Mugabi Brian, that is Fiona's brother, Tarin K. Kiaze plays Knight Nantonga, that is Fiona's older sister, Ethan Nazario Lubega plays Mukumbia Benjamin, Esther Tebandeke plays Sarah Katende, Nikita Waligwa plays Gloria Nansubuga, amongst other cast members. Now, if you love spoilers, I'll urge you to continue with this, continue listening to this, continue watching this. If you do not like spoilers, please leave now. Go and find the movie Queen of Katwe and then come back and tell me if you agree with me or not, because this is your official spoiler alert. So, Queen of Katwe follows this chess prodigy called Fiona. Fiona is from a very, very poor family in Uganda. One of Uganda's, I think he's a slum, called Katwe. So she's in her pre-teens by the time the movie begins. So it starts in 2008 and she lives with the mom. The mom is a single mother because their dad had died. So they sell maize to make ends meet. She and her siblings do not go to school. So their youngest brother, that is Richard, is the youngest, like he's very young by the time the movie begins. And the oldest sister, that is Night, I don't think she ever went to school, or if she had, she had started, but she had stopped when the dad died. So he left them nothing. And the house that they live in is like, dilapidated, my friends. It does not have a window. It does not have like, they have papers for window, and the door is just something else. Like, don't even like it looks terrible, but that was their home. So it starts with them doing their thing, selling maize, and this older sister is there and she doesn't want to go and sell the maize. But then she's given, even Fiona herself did not want to go and sell the maize. But the older sister, that is Night, she carries them on her head. There's this boda guy who comes and stops there so that he can give Night a ride. The mom, that is Naku, played by Lupita Nyong'o, goes and chases the man away. He leaves, and the sister goes, like, that is Night, goes like, I will never forgive you. She tells the mom that she will never forgive her for what she did. So the mom, of course, she does not care, because I'm trying to protect you, okay? And so that just keeps happening, like them selling, blah blah blah. Then the brother, I'm not sure if Brian was older or was younger than her. I think he's younger or something. I don't know. Either way, the brother Brian, whenever they go to sell the maize, he disappears a little bit, and Fiona wanted to know where he goes to. She asks him about it. He does not say. But then one day she follows him, and she sees him getting into this room. That room is a room that Robert Katende used to bring in this group of young kids called pioneers and teach them chess, because he was working for this organization that was helping kids with sports and stuff. So the coach had asked Brian to play football, but he was like, yeah, I do not like football. If you have anything else to teach me, I can do that. And so the teacher was like, do you know chess? And he was like, no. And so he started teaching Brian and other kids how to play chess. So by the time Fiona joins them, it was a little bit later. Most of them had already started. They're already playing and stuff. Fiona joins them, and she's smiling that day because, remember, she's in a preteen, so she's already sweating, and she's been walking around the sun selling the maize and stuff. So it was difficult, and the other kids started, insulting her, telling her that she's smelling. She did not let that deter her. So she went back home, she showered. The next time she went there, she was fresh. She smelled okay and everything, and she learned how to play chess. So the others taught her, and she learned very, very quickly, because it's something that I think it was just in her. So they start going to tournaments, and the first one was very, very difficult to get into, because it was at this school called, I think, King's College Budo. Robert Katende, that's their coach, he goes and begs for them to be allowed in, because that person who was there, I did not like him. He kept telling him no, like coming up with excuses because they were kids from the slums. But Robert made sure that he had gotten the yes that he wanted, even though it was not like an outright yes. And he went look for the money that he was asked for. Like, it was 4,000 Ugandan shillings. I think their money is shillings, if I'm not mistaken. And per kid, and he made it playing football, which is something he was not allowed to be doing because he had hurt his leg. I think he had an injury. But then he made the money, and he took the kids to that tournament. So of course, those kids from the pioneer kids, they won that tournament, and they were playing with these rich kids and blah blah blah. So they continue practicing and practicing. Even at night, Fiona is learning, practicing with the brother and stuff. And then they go to another tournament in Sudan, where they met these bougie Kenyan kids, yo. Kenya even had t-shirts written Kenya. And the other teams had, like, no other team had uniforms written their country's name. I was like, oh my God, laini Kenya tunafanywaje? Because why is it that only the Kenyan team had like uniforms written Kenya? Like these t-shirts with the Kenya in front of them. And the girl was like even doing that thing, laughing at Fiona's accent. And I was like, aki kabisa. They pegged Kenyans like to a T, which is that was wrong. That was wrong. But anyway, so they won. But now the problem with removing a child like Fiona from the slum is that you are teaching them of where they could be or where they could go. And so when she got back, she was not the same. This is a kid who lives in the slum, and she has already been in a plane going to Sudan. She's been playing with these other people. She has seen the other side of life. Because in Sudan, they were staying at this hotel where they had like a pool, and they had beds. They did not sleep on those beds, by the way. They huddled up together on the floor and slept there, all of the kids. And I remember they woke up in the morning and they were crying. They wanted to go back home. They missed their moms and stuff like that. But the coach came and he told them a funny story. They all laughed and they went and they smashed it. Only Gloria lost or something, and she started crying, causing a scene and stuff. And the coach had to remove her from the room. But anyway, they come back, and Fiona, of course, she has changed, but the coach talks to her. And the next tournament was in Russia. So they got onto a plane and they go to Russia. There, she plays with Team Canada, and that other girl was also good. Like, she was so good. Fiona tried to do, because she could see like 8 steps ahead of that on that chessboard. Whenever she was playing with the coach, whenever she was playing with other kids, I remember there's a point even another kid was like, how can she see my next move? It's like she's reading my mind. And Fiona was just laughing. And even the coach was like, how can you do that? How could you see, like, because he was trying to tell her, do this, do this. And she was like, no, 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 that is not my move. And then she described to him what she was going to do. And she checkmate. She had a checkmate or whatever, however you phrase it. And so the coach was like, how? You are a prodigy. You're supposed to have like a proper coach and stuff. Other people have coaches from, I don't know, Russia. Like the Kenyan team, they get flown to Russia to go and play with their coaches there. Their coach is flown from Russia to come and teach them and stuff. I was like, okay, sawa sawa. But anyway, that one, she couldn't do it. She forfeited the game and she left, and she was very sad. She was crying because she was sure she was going to win it. And I remember the coach kept telling her not to be cocky and stuff. So at home, things are happening. The older sister, Night, after that squabble with the mom in the beginning, she just left home and she went with this border guy or somebody else, I don't know. So she started living that life. And then once they come back, was it after Sudan? Yes, I think it was after Sudan. So after Sudan, when they came back, they were selling maize in the street again, she and her brother, Brian. And then there's this customer who was on the opposite side of the road, and he called for Brian. So Brian went to cross the road, but I think he didn't see, and he was hit by a car that did not stop, by the way. It just left. Either a car or a motorbike. I do not know what hit him, honestly. But then he was hit by something. He was on the floor. Fiona came and helped him, got this other border guy. All the money that she had collected for that day, she gave to this guy so that he could take them to the hospital. They went by the house where they used to live, and the mom got onto the motorbike and they went to the hospital. While they were there, oh my God, this hospital, because I think it's even a clinic in the slums, they did not have pain meds, they did not have anesthesia, they did not have anything. And they had to do stitches on Brian while he was unmedicated. This is a kid. And they did, and he was just crying, calling his mom, and the mom was just there holding him. And Fiona was on the side, like, she was just hurt and in pain for her brother. It was just a sad scene. And so they are in the ward. And then I don't know who it was, but he was like telling Fiona's mom he is coming to collect the money from her. So she went, organized for them to run away, and they left. They go back home, and this woman who was renting that shanty, because it's not even a house, she was renting that shanty to them. She's there waiting for them, asking for the rent. I think it was 10,000 Ugandan shillings. And they do not have money. Harriet tries to tell her that Brian was in the hospital. They've just come back. Give me time to look for the money. She says no. And then Harriet asks Fiona for the money she had collected. She goes like, I gave the money to the border guy. That's the only way he could take Brian to the hospital. And so she gets upset, but she understands. And so this woman gets into that shanty, takes their things and throws them outside for them. So they walk around, they go somewhere, and they sleep under this. I think it's, like in the market, those things in the market where people put their things to sell, under one of those stalls, and they sleep there, and they were staying there. So coach comes and finds them there, tells Fiona not to give up, to continue practicing, to continue working, and so she did. So night comes one time while they're there, and the mom, of course, she's upset and everything. She doesn't want her to be there because she's been gone for days. But she gives money to Fiona and tells her to take it for food or whatever because she knows the mom will not accept it. And then she leaves because she does not want to be around the mom. So she goes back, that is Fiona, talks to the man, begs her to take the money for food or a place to live or something because it was unfair. Like, oh my God, they were living outside. So the mom, Shingo Pande takes the money because, like, I know it hurt her because she knows how the daughter is getting the money. And imagine feeling like a failure as a mom, so much so that you accept money from your daughter who you do not even agree with the way she's living, but you have to because you have other kids to consider. So eventually they get to this house. This is not even a house, my friends. It used to be a church, I think, because it had a cross and it had, like, the windows were just something else. And so they get into it. It even had a pulpit and all. So they get there and they start leaving that space, but it's big. It has nothing inside. It just have their little properties, like, a bench and a couple of other things, a mattress on the floor where they sleep and stuff like that. But it's living. They're together, they're living there. And so when she goes to Russia and she does not pass, she comes back and they continue with their life over there. She continues doing what she used to do, but she's down because she has now thoughts, like second thoughts. She's thinking about their life. She's thinking about where she has gotten to. She's second guessing herself, but the coach talks to her. Like, he kept encouraging her, but she was very, very doubtful of her winning the next game and stuff. There was this other tournament that was supposed to come, and it was like a national chess tournament organized by the Ugandan Federation of Chess, or something like that. That was the last one. So, and she was going to be playing with older people and she was supposed to win some good money. So she was doubting herself. She didn't know that she was going to do it. And so while they're waiting for that to come, the sister comes back. Actually, when she came back from Russia, the sister was home. And so she asked the mom, like, what's wrong with Night? And the mom was just like, the guy that she was with dumped her. And so, but she's going to be okay. But she was already pregnant by that time. So, your Night. Anyway, they're still selling their things in the market and stuff like that. Fiona wants a change. She has experienced life outside of Uganda, outside of Katwe. She wants to be treated a certain way. She wants things a certain way. And that makes her to collide with the mom. And so the mom talks to the coach about it. And the coach tries to explain the situation to her. Because there's a time she was like, she should switch off the koroboi, like the petrol lamp. Like, I don't know how to call it in Swahili or any other language. I can call it in my tribe. That is koroboi. And so it's a paraffin lamp. And so she does it because she was reading. By the way, the coach's wife was a teacher who was teaching Fiona, the brother Brian, Gloria, and another kid how to read. There were 4, I think, who are going to most of these tournaments. They were like very good at chess, but Fiona topped them all. So she used to read like these books that the coach had given her using that lamp at night, and the mom was like, you can't do that. So after she talks to the coach, she goes, there's this, I don't know how you call those clothes that Ugandan women wear, the traditional ones. She had been given by her mom. And so she goes to this marketplace where this man, she knew him before she got married and stuff, like they used to live in the same village or something, and he sells like vitenge. And so she sells it to him, and this man, he was trying to get with her, telling her that it's 12,000 if you just want to sell it, and that's okay, but I can give you 100,000 if you go with me to dinner. And it was tempting because this is a single woman and this man has money and everything. But she eventually went like, no, I think the 12,000 is okay. And so she left and went and bought kerosene so that Fiona can continue reading. Like that part, oh my God, I had so many moments I was just feeling like crying. And so that happened. And like Fiona that night, she was like, okay, let me have read. Mom is not telling me to switch off this thing. So she switches it off and tries to sleep. But the mom wakes up, goes and switches it back on, like lights it on. I'm saying switch as if there's a switch there. Like lights it on with a matchstick and then goes back to sleep. And Fiona just smiled and she continued reading. So One time they were outside, I think, still selling or something, and the sister, Knight, was the one who was at home with the kid, with Richard, that is their youngest brother. And she leaves the brother. They had made this hammock with a lasso on two posts in that church they were living in as a house. And so he was there and just swinging and swinging. Knight lives with one man on a motorbike, telling Richard that she's coming right back. The mom is not in, Fiona is not in, and Brian is not in. Then it starts raining heavily, heavily. Like it was raining really, really, really bad. And so the whole place was flooding. And if you've ever been to a slum when it's raining, you can see if it's not like the drainages are not really good and stuff like that. It was bad. Bad, bad, bad. I don't know where the water was coming from in this church, but it was coming from the upper side, taking everything on its path and going down towards the door. And so this little boy who was left on a hammock, it has rained and he has been rained on. My God, like I remember watching this movie the first time when it came out back in 2016. And I was like, oh my God, I hope nothing happens to this boy. I just hope that nothing happens to Richard. Because he held on to that string that the hammock was on. He held on while the water was taking everything in that house. I don't know how it got broken, and he was on the floor holding on to that thing. Water is hey. Anyway, Harriet came back quickly and she was calling for Knight and calling for Richard. She found Richard in time and got him, and the others were coming with her as well, Fiona and Brian. They collected everything they could save, and then when they were almost done, that's when Knight comes back. So, of course, she was upset this time, their mom. She slaps her and asks her to leave, throws her things outside. But then Knight says that she's pregnant. And so, as a mom, what can you do? You cannot throw out your daughter and she's pregnant. So she goes like, okay. But that moment, I think it broke Fiona more. So she ran and went to the coach's house and talked to him about it. And she was like, I don't want to go back home. Can I stay for a few days? The coach says yes. So the deal that coach had made with Fiona's mom is that if they play chess properly and well enough and they win a couple of medals, he's going to make sure they go to school. And so that's what he did. He made sure that Fiona, Gloria, Brian and the other kid, they started attending a proper school. So the wife was teaching them at home, but then they started going to school, to a proper school. And so they're doing that. The mom was missing her and everything. When Brian would get home, she would ask about her and everything. So one day she's at the market. The coach actually had told her a story about his life, the way he didn't know his mom until he was 6 years old. Then the mom came and she was a nurse because she had given birth to him while she was still in school. I think he said she was 16. And then they only got to spend like 2 years together, and then the mom died. So he missed the mom, and he told her that if he could get a chance to see the mom ever again, he could take it. And so Fiona goes back home, hugs the mom and everything, and they're okay. So they go back to the place that the pioneers were meeting, and these little kids, these little girls, they come and they ask Fiona if she's going to attend that chess tournament that was being organized by the Ugandan Chess Federation, I think. And eventually she agrees, and so she goes. She and the teacher and even the mom comes this time, and other people come to support her, and she wins in this one. It was like 2-3 minutes long. I just had to fast forward, but you have to see it for the emotions and everything. And she wins it, and she goes back home with another trophy, and they're dancing and they're celebrating. The entire place, they're celebrating, and everybody is happy. And it was just a beautiful moment to see, like her and her mom celebrating with the brother and the community and all of that. So the mom, one time she's at home, and then there's this van they used to use to go to tournaments and stuff. The teacher, the coach, and Fiona and the brother, they come and stop in front of the house. They ask the mom to join them and they leave. So they're driven to this place. She didn't know where she was going, but it's in front of her house. And that's the home that Fiona has bought for her mom, because she had actually told her that I'll buy you a home one day. And so she had bought her mom a home at either 14 or 15 by this time, which was just a beautiful thing. The mom cried and hugged her, and that's where the movie ends. After Night came out of the house that Fiona had bought, and that was it. That's the end of Queen of Katwe. You have to watch it to see everything that I've missed in between. The movie is a Disney movie, so of course the cinematography, everything behind the blah blah blah, everything about that was good. But I still have some notes. So they played a lot of Nigerian music, which I mean, it's not a problem, but for a Ugandan movie. But anyway, even Ugandans listen to music from all over. Yeah, so that was not really a problem. Zoran Mamdani stars in this movie because I remember he was on Trevor Noah's podcast, the What Now podcast, and he spoke about being from Uganda and everything. I knew he was from Uganda while he was vying for the mayoral seat of New York because he's the new mayor of New York, if you do not know who Zoran Mamdani is. And so on the What Now podcast, they were talking about that. And he's such a lively guy. Like, he laughs a lot. And so when I saw him in this movie, I was like, that is Zoran Mamdani. Because he looks a little bit different because now, of course, he's more mature and he has a lot of beard compared to during that movie. And I didn't know because when Queen of Katwe came in 2016, I did not know who Zoran was. But now, because I've seen him on the What Now podcast, I've seen him on the news and stuff, I know he's the mayor of New York. I was like, oh, this is Zoran Mamdani. I was not sure I had to Google it, but then, yeah, he was in the movie. And apparently, he is the one who was in charge he helped curate the music for the movie. And his mom is Mira, is it Nair or Nair? I don't know, that one, the director. Like, that was just amazing. And he actually sang a song together with Hab, that is HAB. The song is like number one spice. Fiona and the brother love singing it and dancing it. And at the end of the movie, it's a score like where the credits are running, that song plays, and actually Zoran is there together with Hab, I think, and they're dancing and they're singing and everything. And he was also credited as the third assistant director. A little nepotism never hurt anyone. So yeah. I remember Gloria's first game. She had hiccups the entire time, which was just crazy. No wonder she freaked out when she lost. When was it Benjamin? When he won, he was like, "We are the Katwe cool cats." Like, it was funny. That kid was just hilarious. And there's this part where they're going to Russia, and in the plane where the coach and Fiona were, I assume it was coming from Uganda, but seated behind them was this group of Germans who were also training in the plane, and behind them was another, or beside them was another group from China. So I was like, how is Team Germany, Team Uganda, and Team China on the same flight from Uganda going to Russia, unless there was a tournament they were coming from immediately in Uganda, which there wasn't, and now they're traveling all of them to Russia. Like, that part was crazy. I was like, Disney, did you not see this? Who made that mistake? How are they coming from the same side of the world? Germany is in a different continent, and so is China. But that one I was like, no, 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 no. You made a mistake. Somebody made a mistake somewhere, and it was not funny. But yeah, other than that, I do not have more notes. Like, it was just a nice movie. It's a true story. That is Fiona's life, like, for real. Even when it's ending, they show like Madina Nalwanga next to the real Fiona Mutesi, everybody, like all the cast, the main cast, that is, they show them next to the real people that they portrayed. So it's a true story. And yeah, I loved it. It was simple and it was entertaining. It was like you had to fight for Fiona whenever she was playing. I did not like that girl from Team Canada. I think I've seen her in another movie. I do not know which one. I'll have to Google this movie in depth so that I can know where I saw her from. But yeah, just imagining that there are people who live like that. And I know I'm struggling and I know I'm suffering and everything. But to see something like that and you know that there's somebody who's actually living like that, It's a movie, but it's a true story. It's someone's true story. It's just disheartening. And you just feel for these people so much, and you wish that things were different for everybody in the world, because nobody deserves to live like that. No mother deserves to be left alone with her children, and she has to care for them and nurture them and feed them and send them to school, and she has nothing herself, and with no background of education, like she didn't. But anyway, nowadays, even if you're educated, people have masters and they're out in the road begging. So it's just not fair. But yeah, it was a good movie. I'm not going to rate it the same way I did not rate last week's movie. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it like that. You think, go and watch it and think for yourself. What do you think? And I think it's because this one is about real life. It's real people. So how am I going to rate someone's real story, real life? So no, but the actors, the young kids, they did amazing. They were amazing. They did amazing. And this was one of the African movies, or a movie produced by the US, I should say. And the actors actually sounded African, like with real African accents, like not the curated Nigerian or South African accent that Hollywood uses. So I love this so much, and I want you to go and watch it. Look for it. It's online. If you don't find it online, you can buy it on, like, those movie people. Look for it somewhere. Or if you have Disney Plus, I'm sure it can still be there. So go and find it and watch it. Then come back here and tell me if you agree with me or not. Remember that I'm still baking, so make your orders. Remember that if you want me to make mandazis and chapos and just cook for you for an entire week, or somebody who wants that, who might be interested in that, send them my way. If you have my number, do that. If you don't, DM me on Mimi's Musings Podcast on Instagram, and I'll be there for you. I'll do it. Remember to follow me there, Instagram and TikTok, Mimi's Musings Podcast. Come back here and remember to subscribe. Just let's bring the number up. I think we're still stuck at 45, or now maybe we have added 1 or 2. I do not know. But the last time I checked, we were still at 45 people. Come on. I know this YouTube thing takes time, but hey, please support our sister. Tell a friend to come and subscribe, and I'll be super grateful. So again, remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notification, so that whenever I upload something new, you're going to be amongst the first one to come and watch. Okay, bye now. Love you.